Greetings and salutations all. It is I, Lord Samaron, and today we are about to begin what I hope will be the first in a series of videos detailing some of the writing techniques used in the Legend of Spyro series. We will be beginning with my favourite scene and the one which I believe has the most to unpick. I will be pausing throughout and explaining the symbolism and more. If you would prefer just to watch the original video, that can be found quite easily on YouTube. So without further ado, let us begin.
Just stay close to me.
At long last, my guests arrive. Please, come in.
So, as we can see, we begin with the first official introduction of Malefor, voiced by Mark Hamill. If you can tell, then I don't blame you. The voice altering is a little bit extreme. Not entirely certain why they bothered to get a famous actor. Either way, he begins with what could be misconstrued as a friendly greeting. This is what we call false affably evil. This is where the character, in this case a villain, puts on a cordial and almost charming appearance when first introduced.
Such determination to get here. It seems we share other qualities besides power.
Here he is playing on Spyro's fear that he is like Malefor, which has been established and referenced multiple times throughout specifically this game. As this is a way to throw the characters, firstly Spyro, off balance.
No, I'm nothing like you.
Do you think so? We'll get to that.
Here he is placing doubt into Spyro's mind by simply laughing off his retort as if it were ridiculous.
Don't listen to him, Spyro. Don't listen to anything he says.
Now this could be interpreted one of two ways. It could either be interpreted as Cinda simply giving some important advice, since she knows how manipulative Malefor can be, and is trying to make sure that he cannot get inside Spyro's head. It could also be a way to try and preemptively prevent Malefor from dropping the bombshell that he is, going to, that Cinda was actually working for him throughout throughout at least a portion of the Eternal Night as well. She is trying to lampshade this so that when he says it, Spyro will not believe him. As we later see, this does not work as she intended.
You're so weary. Allow me to make you more comfortable.
Here he has immediately undone what Cinda has just done, but by doing something kind as a means to get their attention. So that now, as you can see, both of their eyes turn to him, and he has their full undivided attention.
That's better, isn't it? The least I can do for you, Cinda. After all, you've done so much for me.
You used her.
I used her, she used you. What does it matter, really?
Now, this is quite an interesting thing, because it's essentially a way of saying, we're not so different, you and I, to Cinda, while speaking to Spyro and not actually using that good old technique that we all love so much. He's emphasizing the fact that everybody uses each other and everyone has something to gain from everything they do. And he's also trying to say that he's not evil, everyone does it, either that or continuing to draw comparisons between himself and Spyro and Cinda.
What does he mean?
Now, this is the first instance of Malefor actually lying in this scene, because he knows full well that Spyro does not know this. He is simply claiming that he thought Spyro did, as a way to deflect blame away from himself and entirely onto Cinda to create tension between the two dragons who would be his his combatants.
Tell me what?
How she lured you to our souls. How she tricked you into fleeing.
Now, this is quite a revelation, and it leads into... I actually don't believe he is lying here. I have a full theory as to all the ways that Cinda used Spyro throughout the Eternal Night. If you like, I can do a video on that. However, that will largely depend on the success of this one. But I do have some interesting points that I would like to raise, but that is for a different video.
You're lying.
See that? Defensive. If this were true, then why, a few seconds earlier, did she feel guilty?
Tell me what?
See? Looks down. You don't do that if you have no idea what the person is accusing you of. This, I believe, is confirmation in and of itself that Malefor is telling the truth in this scene.
How she lured you to our souls. How she tricked you into fleeing.
You're lying.
I find it peculiar how you've chosen to remember.
How you've chosen to remember things. That he's saying that she is the one that's lying, but without directly saying it. It's another piece of embedded text.
You can be sure, you free me, Spyro, and you will bring me back.
I'm not certain why he makes the same point twice there, or why he looks at Cinda while talking to Spyro. I'm not entirely certain what that is. I think it's just to sort of hammer in the point, but like I said, I'm not entirely certain.
Cinda to thank for that.
Cinder? Is it true?
No. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
This is her saying that she's trying to even deny to herself the things she's done. She's trying to separate herself from the dragon who manipulated Spyro, even though she is the same dragon.
Oh, I think you do. But actually,
See, throughout most of this scene, Malefor has been leading up to this moment. He has been, from the first word essentially, he's been trying to break Cinda's resolve and her willpower so that he can once again take control of her and hopefully use her to destroy Spyro. Because he is afraid that Spyro might actually be able to stop him because they are both purple dragons. So he is trying to avoid this by having someone who he knows Spyro will not fight against do the dirty work for him.
Cinder! Cinder! No!
I should have warned you. You are alone here, dragon.
Young Dragon. For those of you who don't know, the only character throughout the entirety of the games who ever called Spyro Young Dragon, at least on a consistent basis, was Ignitus. This is a way to rub salt in the wound and again emphasize his point. This is proof that he has been watching them the entire time. He knows exactly what happened to Ignitus, and he is trying to use it to destroy Spyro, because right in front of him he has essentially, now that Ignitus' father figure is dead, and Malefor believes he has control over the only other dragon Spyro cares about, he's trying to destroy Spyro from the inside, and at this moment in time it seems to be working.
You have always been alone. Still, here you are, trying so desperately to save little Israel.
Desperately. It's an interesting choice of words. I guess he's basically saying that Spyro's attempts are feeble and they're just founded in stubbornness and desperation, nothing more.
Refusing to accept the role of the purple dragon. I should have been told I was the first archive, but I assure you, there have been many.
I know a lot of people don't believe Malefor on this. I'm not entirely certain what to think, because between the two dragons who have told Spyro that Malefor was the first purple dragon, one is Ignitus, who by all rights should not even know, and the other was the Chronicler, and we are not so sure if the Chronicler is such a reliable source, being as he did spend a decent, and especially as he seems to be wrong a lot. Like he said that when Malefor returned, Cinda would immediately join him, which did not happen. So I think, I mean, we should obviously take both of them with a grain of salt, but of the two, Malefor might know what he's talking about. Again, I can't really give a consensus on this since, well, we're not going to know until the writers come out and say it, which is probably never going to happen.
Credibility of our predecessors to resurrect the destroyer.
Duty. That's quite interesting. This word is not really used much in the series, but it is heavily implied that Spyro feels it is his duty to protect people, and so Malefor using this and sort of flipping it on his head and saying that the duty is to destroy the world is an assault on Spyro's ideology.
Cause of the demon to bring about the great cleansing. This is the true nature of our kind. Your destiny is to destroy the world.
No! I don't believe that!
Of course you don't. You will fulfill your destiny nonetheless.
He's saying, of course you don't, as in he's saying Spyro doesn't have a choice. It doesn't matter what he thinks. It's the sort of same thing that he's done with Cinda. He hasn't given her a choice, and now he's saying to Spyro, "You don't have a choice. This is what's going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it."
In my time, I was stopped, prevented from completing my quest. But you carry the flame. If you will not, and soon the world will be destroyed along with it.
No!
You along with it. That goes to show that Malefor has no intention of going up with the world. This is sort of confirmation that Malefor does have plans beyond the simple end of the world. Perhaps to create a new world with him as king, perhaps other. But he says you along with it. He doesn't say everything along with it. He doesn't say all of us along with it. He says you along with it.
Because you've left me nothing to fight for.
So in this way, Malefor is almost too good at manipulating people for his own good. Because, I mean, he succeeded. He won. He took everything Spyro cares about, so that now the only thing he cares about is Cinda, and and Malefor intended to take her and have them fight for death and then presumably kill whoever won. So, or at least that would give him time to complete the Ring of Annihilation. But in a way, by making Cinda the only thing Spyro cares about, he's allowed this moment to happen, and he didn't even realize what was happening until it was already too late for him to win.
There's always something.
So be it.
Choice. That is very interesting because that is the first time Malefor has used that word, and he he's basically saying that Cinda made a choice. Perhaps for the first time in her life, Malefor actually acknowledges that she has a choice over her own actions, and, well, in his view, she chose wrong. So he plans to destroy them both in once and for all. and obviously that starts the battle. It's quite generic towards the end, but I believe there are quite a few lines in there that can contain some interesting points that can be applied to the rest of the story. This is my first video with a microphone, so forgive me if it was a bit janky or incoherent. Any feedback would be very much appreciated. Do you think I was reading too much into this, or do you think I had a few points here and there? And also, would you like to hear my theory video about Cinda and the Eternal Night? Thank you all for watching, and this has been Samron, and goodbye.